Good evening, freaks and friends, and welcome to Math Bites. I'm your host, Math Machine, and today there really wasn't much news yesterday and today, mostly due to yesterday being a recap of all of the April Fool's madness, because for some strange reason, and I'll never get why, not only do we spend April Fool's Day not telling anyone anything, we spend the next day recounting all the nonsense that we spent not telling anyone anything. But there was one bit of news that I saw that was actually pretty interesting. I said last week that Amazon was releasing their own console. Apparently, what it turned out to be wasn't too far off. It was an all-in-one media device. Another one. Another big black box that we can put in our living room right next to our TV, because, fuck, we only have 50 of those. We need another one. And it's got a Microsoft controller that's been retrofitted for their particular purposes. And I know, it's not a Microsoft controller. It's their own thing. It's the same fucking thing. It looks exactly the same. It's got their own home button on it. That's pretty much it. It is a carbon copy of the Microsoft controller. You can't argue that. The big thing, though, that I'm wanting to discuss about this is the commercial that I saw for it. When it was first shown yesterday, and by the way, it was just boop, right on the market. No other news, hints, anything. Just right on the market, that's it. There were little bits of a commercial embedded in with the videos that I saw for when this thing was released, and I saw them and I was like, this seems kind of strange. This must be from like the places I'm watching it or something. That can't be the actual commercial. So I had to look up the commercial. The product is called Amazon Fire TV, because apparently random words thrown on a dartboard, whatever stuck. And the commercial is probably one of the absolute stupider things I've ever seen. It features Gary Busey. I'm pretty sure in that couple seconds it took to register that, you already have an idea what's going through your head. It is a 60-second commercial. It features Gary Busey. That's all. That's basically all it is. And it's, I think I said it's 60 seconds. There's literally nothing else to the commercial. It's just, I swear to God, they just hired Gary Busey, hid some cameras around, just had him say some shit, and then they finally... You don't even see the product until about 45 seconds. It takes 45 seconds for the commercial to actually get to the bloody device, and it only shows the remote for it, which has a button in the center that basically is like a voice-activated kind of thing. It's a neat feature. Just press this button, suddenly your TV turns into a voice recognition software program. That's kind of cool. Why did you have to spend 45 seconds of Gary Busey acting like Gary Busey to show us that? We saw the product for 5 seconds, and then it's about 10 seconds of telling us like the name just on the screen, and then buy this. It's $99. I don't think that there's any point in it that we actually... I take that back. I think that when it's showing the name, you see the box right underneath it, but that's it. And it's only for that 10 seconds. Also, you don't see any functions for it. If you don't know it's one of those all-in-one media devices, you would have absolutely no idea what the fuck it is. Because that commercial is just the most confusing thing ever. I don't know who designed that commercial. I don't know who thought that up. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea. There was a comment in there that was actually one of the higher rated comments for the YouTube video I watched for the commercial, and this was the official page for the commercial, by the way. The comment said, "Cocaine is a hell of a drug." And I firmly believe that's what happened. I am under the impression that somebody somewhere, after taking a lot of drugs, said, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's get Gary Busey and have him act bonkers." Don't you mean just act normal? What the fuck ever. Let's have him go completely batshit insane, and we will sell this shit. How are we going to tie the product into this? Fuck if I know. Just have Gary Busey out there going nuts. It'll work. God damn it. For those select few of you who don't know who Gary Busey is, he was a relatively big movie star back in the 70s and 80s. And then in 88, he was in a really, really bad motorcycle accident. I know the old saying, there's no such thing as a easy or a soft or a small motorcycle accident. This one was really bad. Skull fractures. He had multiple skull fractures, including brain trauma. He has since been on several reality shows, mostly, where it has pretty well been confirmed that he has severe mental trauma and his mind is kind of slipping away. So to you and I, if we didn't know about this, it would look like he's either A, on a lot of drugs, or B, completely out of his gourd. And he, in a sense, he is. He's on a lot of drugs to keep himself in what's left of his gourd, but then what's left of his gourd is pretty well out. So he has become sort of a running gag for for reality TV as a lowest common denominator kind of actor. Like you want a guy that you know will go off the wall and do crazy stuff at a moment's notice. You get Gary Busey, which is a darn shame because I feel that it's just exploiting a person who has severe injuries, all for the lowest common denominator of TV viewers, which have become rampant ever since the late 90s, early 2000s. I blame Survivor as the craze for reality TV. That's another topic for another time. I'm not going to get into that right now. But this commercial just made absolutely no... Oh, and by the way, this is a device that also has pretty decent gaming power to it. It's got a good package of mechanical part, especially for $99. It's pretty well equipped. But it could rival a good gaming PC from like 2-3 years ago, which says a bit about it. Granted, it doesn't have any hard drive space. That's kind of the key. But it's a decent machine for like casual gaming and just slightly like getting into the more hardcore gaming. This is like an in-between console. Like you have your really, really casual Facebook game stuff. Don't do that, by the way. Then you have this kind of thing. And then you have your hardcore stuff like a full-blown gaming PC or PS4 or Xbox One. I would throw Wii U into that, unfortunately. And no one seems to be taking that seriously. I wish they would, but again, another topic, another time. So this seems like a pretty good device for in between, like not the people who are casual and wanting more, and then the people who want an all-in-one media device and then also want some gaming with it as well. And Amazon is making really good efforts to try and get into the gaming community too, which kind of shocks me. I thought that they were just like buying into this just to buy into it. No, from everything I've seen, they're making efforts. They bought, I said before, they bought Double Helix. Once again, Killer Instinct is the reason They bought that studio. No other game that they made was worth $1. They've got a couple of big names, pretty good names from other studios in their own game studio. They have their own game studio too now, not just Double Helix. This device is actually looking for its price point, it's pretty good. For an overall thing, it's decent. They've got a lot of games for it, and they're promising, for what that's worth, a lot more games for it. And and they have, starting yesterday or today, all of the video games on Amazon that you can look up will now, by default, have not only their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star rating system, it'll also have the Metacritic scores as well. So they are pushing hard to say, we're in the gaming community too! And then, sort of as, like, 2 steps forward, 1 back, we get this Gary Busey commercial. Shows nothing of the gaming thing, barely shows the product in itself, just has Gary Busey being Gary Busey. I think on one of his more off periods as well. I honestly don't get what they were thinking, and watching that was at one point the most hilarious thing I've ever seen, because it's just so surreal. You don't think that this actually is anything. You think it's a joke. But then when you realize that it is real, it's one of the more insulting things I've ever seen. And as a first launch for a product, I don't think this... I hope this isn't a sign for anything from this product, because I want to believe that this could be decent. But then I see this, and I go, well, fuck, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So I'll be looking into this as it progresses, and I hope that Amazon doesn't do anything to further my belief that they aren't taking this seriously. I hope that this was just a one-off thing because somebody had it in their head that they wanted to do this, and they actually take this seriously from now on. Because the last thing we need is yet another company trying to get into the video game industry and then fucking around and doing jack all. This has been Math Machine, slowly slipping into madness, saying, peace out.